Hi, I'm Diane Goodwin, and I'm the president and founder of Blue Sky Designs. We began Blue Sky 11 years ago in 1997, and we develop products for people with disabilities to make it possible for them to do what they want to do. One of the things that we used the Dimension for was to get a sense from people what they thought of the size and the shape of things and the feel of things. And so we went from just testing it out with blocks of wood, saying how long should the arm be, to being able to print several different sizes or lengths of arms for people to react to. And then eventually, once we settled on the size, we looked at the shapes, both from an aesthetic standpoint and then the feel standpoint, what people really liked with that. It really helped us, I think, come up to a place where we've got a device that works well and feels good. I think one of the things I really appreciate about this is all the different functionality in terms of the mechanism that we could test out with the Dimension printer. When I depress this, for instance, that unlocks the wrist. Now it can rotate. So it's a one-handed maneuver. I depress that. You wouldn't believe all the little things happening in there right now. So things are lifting, things are kicking. And then if I want to take something off, I can. So we've got things that are spring-loaded in here. We've got the full 9 yards. We can adjust the tilt. We can lock the tilt. We can do all sorts of mechanisms with this Stratasys product. So it's pretty remarkable. Another way that we've used the Dimension is to not only reduce costs in terms of prototype development, but also look at and consider things relative to manufacturing, manufacturability, assembly, and the costs of things. This is a simulation, or these are a couple models we did, which basically are two parts that need to come together. In the end, basically you need 12 of these little guys assembled here. So you can see it would be a pain to assemble this. And eventually then you have to bring something in over that to capture them. So rather than do that, we decided to put them on a tree. And this not only reduced the assembly costs, because as you can see it goes together much better, now it also reduced the part costs, because when I had the parts quoted, this little guy here was 45 cents, okay? One of these was just 4 cents more. So we really have helped in terms of reducing, we were able to explore that concept with the Dimension printer so that we could reduce the assembly costs, we could improve the ease of assembly, we could improve the cost of production, and we were able to also bring this into our vendor, the prototype into the vendor, and say this is what we want to do, help us identify issues with it or problems with it. So that's another really good use of the Dimension printer and the prototypes you can build, is to get feedback from your manufacturers. Now this was the last of our prototypes that we did, and it basically includes or incorporates most of the final design elements that we had. But as you can see here, I have several other options as well where we explored different systems. We had different ways of setting the lock than we did in this one. We had probably about 6 different iterations, whereas if I had been trying to do this out of metal, I couldn't have afforded to explore all those options. I'd say, I said we spent around $23,000 over here on the metal prototypes. We spent a fraction of that on all of these prototypes when you look at it from what did it cost for us to print these parts. We love our Dimension printer. I mean, we just love it. We named it Tonka. Now I used to work at Tonka Toys, and that's kind of what it's like, is you get to you work all day on your little SolidWorks model, and then you can just hit print, and the next day you've got the part. And it's just great to be able to test out the concept so quickly.